Hi, it's Tina and Tim again with eCourt Coach. And today we're going to talk about a recent experience in court and about a task a judge wanted the litigants to do. And that was how the parties could better communicate. And that meant whether or not they should use text message as the only means of communication or email or telephone. So one of the things the judge went into great detail was about how parents need to be peacekeepers. So in a second, Tim's gonna explain what he believes parents to be peacekeeper mean in terms of the effect it has on children. So again, the judge wants us to come up with some ideas to write in a decision about how parents can better communicate with each other. So here's our topic and here we go. So let's start with, what do you think the parenting as a peacekeeper means, Tim?
So I think in this particular situation, the judge, when getting at about parents having to communicate, and when we talk about that, I think this will make more sense as a peacekeeper is, I think it really was code for saying, listen, you've got to learn to co-parent, okay? Parents have to get along. You have to find a way to remain civil with one another. When families engage in this discourse, this anger, this fighting, it puts the burden on the child, is what ends up happening, right? The child then feels like they have to be the peacekeeper. And we see it all the time. You know, the child wants to please mommy and please daddy. And so they're saying, well, where do you want to live? Well, where do you want to, what do you want to do? That's not making a healthy situation in this family. A child never should be having to make the decision, right? So if parents cannot get along, cannot co-parent or be the keeper of the peace for this child, then we have an issue. So I think that's the task that this judge was getting at, is saying, you two, as parents, need to find a way to be kind to one another to make this work.
Okay, and that means in how you communicate with each other, how you respect each other's communication, the response time for communication, how you behave in person, how you behave at custody exchanges, how you behave at a baseball game or a dance class or recital, how you behave anywhere where the two of you potentially could come into contact with each other. So one of the things that was talked about was that with text message communication, using that solely as your means of communication, a parent may not receive your text message. So what does that mean? That means you could send a text message and then you start getting angry and frustrated at the fact that the parent hasn't responded yet. Well, you don't know if they received that communication. So if you have an understanding between each other that if a text message is sent and you both have iPhones, that you will keep the settings on so that you'll be able to know when the text message itself will be read. Okay, and there's also that little thing on a text message that says delivered. But since we have the task of sending proposals on how the parents should communicate or define the steps to communication, one thought I had, and we say it on our other videos, is perhaps set a time frame. So if something happens and you need a response and you sent it out in the morning by saying, hey, I need to schedule a doctor's appointment for our kid, and this is what I need to do. Are you available to take our daughter or son to the appointment, or do you want me to? So you know what, you set a time. No later than 8 o'clock of that evening, the other parent should respond. And sometimes parents just need to respond and acknowledge receipt of that text message. So if you're sending a picture of little Johnny or little Sue of where, they made something or they were having a great time at the zoo and you wanted the other parent to have a video or a picture of it, well, that parent doesn't necessarily need to have a discussion with you. Really, they just have to say thank you or, great, or, tell our child I love them. You don't have to have this long dialogue. It's just acknowledge the other person. So
I put it very simply, and I tell our clients this, and I tell my friends and anybody who's going through some form of family court process, is treat your ex as a business, okay, as a business person, right? If I own a company, it's a client or a business partner, Or if I'm calling a business, right, I'm going to talk to customer service, not angrily, but you have a common goal here. So it's the same rules of engagement and etiquette. If I want to know something, hey, I'm looking for this product. I need to know by this date. Could you let me know within 4 days whether or not that's going to work for shipping? Thank you. I'm not trying to be best friends. Listen, if we were best friends and everything was perfect, you probably would not be separated. Okay.
And you'd probably be on the phone talking to each other a lot more frequently. So this particular judge does not want communication just limited to text messages. And remember, text sometimes can be misunderstood because sometimes people text in caps. I mean, with all the different emojis and the changing definitions of different letters stuck together could mean a whole slew of things.
The other
So,
piece when you're
right?
texting, though, well, the other piece is you read it with your own opinion. So you're putting your own emotion onto it. So when you're reading it, I could send a text message. Let's say Tina sends me a text message and it just says, hey, good morning, right? She could have just meant like, hey, good morning. I could be in a really crappy mood and could have gotten, hey, good morning. Okay, what did I do wrong? See, I'm putting something to it. So text messages are dangerous in that way. We're interpreting with our own tone or inflect on that dialogue. So I get why a judge would say, I'd rather you two talk to each other on the phone. Again, like Tina will say, that poses its own problems. If these are two people who vehemently despise each other, that could be catastrophic.
Right, but now that you're supposed to be a peacekeeper, how about lovely Zoom? The same electronic method we are making this video on. So if parents had to Zoom, well, guess what? It records, it will memorialize those types of things that if there's an issue, well, guess what? I get to see as an attorney your facial expression. The other side gets to see your facial expression. And if we have to have it go into court, well, guess what? It's easy to show everybody just how horrible the two of you are. So
Yep.
that's why you need to be parental peacekeepers. So when you are visually in front of each other, you're nice and polite and civil and kind. I mean, this is not Putin versus Biden, or actually it should be Putin versus Biden, because you know what? Nobody is talking loud, screaming, acting inappropriate. Their words, okay? And like Tim
Right.
said, it's business.
It's business.
So,
And at the end of the day, we're talking about your child, right? It's the children that we're talking about in family court. Family court is divested to do what's in the best interest of the child. As parents, you should already be doing that. And the best interest of the child is a mom and a dad who can remain civil and polite and courteous and come up with some type of plan that works best for that child. And that's what we mean by be the peacekeeper.
so we hope we're right with the peacekeeper, but that's what we're saying it means. So until next time, remember to like this video, subscribe to eCourt Coach Consultants, and if you are represented by somebody, perhaps share some of these videos with them and share not to them, share to everyone. So that way everyone becomes informed. So you're not all out there, this is happening. What should I do? Well, you know what? We're making videos, and hopefully with these little tips, it'll make your day-to-day a little bit better. So again, like, subscribe, comment, we'll respond. Anything else you can think of, Tim?
Have a wonderful day and keep the peace.
Right.